experience of growing up in a home with a brother who was in a constant state of motion, often acting before thinking and having a short attention span. Being a boy, his behavior at first was just passed off as being a normal boy. But as time went on, my parents and grandparents just knew that there was more to this situation. He was obviously extremely bright and never missed a thing, but he just couldn't sit still, couldn't concentrate on any one thing unless it was something he truly enjoyed and often was in the doghouse. He just couldn't help it, and it was tough on everyone that cared for him. But when he started school, he was not learning to read as quickly as most of the other kids. He was officially diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. My mother quickly became an expert on ADHD, doing extensive research on the topic. Among her research of the causes, she discovered that exposure to man-made toxins in the environment, chemicals, air pollution, and diet contribute to the development of ADHD. Today, I'm advocating for the United States federal government to pass legislation to implement and enforce stricter regulations on man-made environmental toxins to protect public health, specifically to reduce the prevalence of ADHD in all 50 states today and in the future. So why do we need to reduce these environmental toxins? You may very well have a family member, close friend, or casual acquaintance who has been diagnosed with ADHD or display the above symptoms, leading you to think they may also have this. Today, I'm going to describe the problem, promote my plan to address the issue, and envision the results of my plan. Research shows that exposure to man-made environmental toxins both before birth and in the early years following birth, during critical developmental stages of infancy, contribute to the presence of ADHD. These toxins have a profound impact on the production and function of neurotransmitters in the brain. These toxins include specific synthetic chemicals and heavy metals such as lead, mercury, flame retardants, and even compounds in everyday products that we use such as toothpaste and shampoo. Also included in the list of toxins is air pollution, including nicotine from first, second, and third-hand cigarette smoke, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons from fumes released into the air from grilling meat. Lastly, consumption and elimination of some foods in our diets, like fast food, boxed cake mixes, fish, chocolate, food additives, and artificial dyes are proven to contribute to ADHD. This is only a partial listing. The list is endless. ADHD is characterized by varying degrees of a short, disordered attention span, just not being able to concentrate on any one thing for any length of time unless it is an activity they truly enjoy. A lack of impulse control, acting before thinking a solution out, and being hyper or always on the go nonstop. This short attention span, being impulsive and hyper, create negative consequences, leading to problems in all areas of functioning. Academically, with learning disabilities; socially, have trouble making or keeping friends or even a spouse; and work life, they can have trouble keeping a job. School can be torture for these kids. According to the World Health Organization, 24% of adults and 34% of children's health problems today can be attributed to environmental risk factors. I have a soft place in my heart for these people that know their behavior is different. And after explaining the challenges those with ADHD face on a day-to-day basis and realizing how frustrated they must feel, I am proposing a solution to reduce environmental toxins so the chances of developing ADHD are decreased. Is there a solution? Yes, and let's explore that idea. There are three main ideas that must be addressed. To begin, it is absolutely essential that the United States Senate and House of Representatives pass legislation to implement and enforce stricter regulations on man-made environmental toxins such as chemicals, air pollution, and diet to protect public health, giving the Environmental Protection Agency and the Food and Drug Administration authorization to be instrumental in mandating tougher requirements, goals and standards for the manufacturing industry, holding both the private and public sectors, big and small, accountable for their actions, imposing hefty fines for any violation of policy. Next, the government must provide incentives like tax write-offs for implementation of my plan. And lastly, every citizen should contact their representatives in Washington, D.C. and let them know of the problem. According to Michelle Noveltine, Ph.D., other legislation has been passed when back in 2004. The U.S. Senate designated the second Wednesday of September as National ADHD Awareness Day, when a man with ADHD contacted his senator and told him about the difficulties individuals with ADHD often face and how widespread myths about the condition were making it hard to get help. There will always be a segment of the population that would oppose this legislation. This group would rally against this legislation, saying the cost of implementation would be prohibitive. We need to remember the following information when considering the cost of cleaning up the environment. According to the CDC in the U.S. in 2015, the combined annual cost of health care was $31.6 billion for persons with ADHD and their families, including diagnosis and the effect of the diagnosis on families, including work absences. Those that are apathetic don't think they alone would have any impact, and it's inconvenient, requiring a little bit of effort on their part, and just aren't interested, having a just don't care attitude. Lack of knowledge of the impact of their actions leaves people ignorant of the problem. We must accept the fact that nature did not intend for us to live with all of the existing environmental toxins. Once this policy is enacted and enforced, we can move on with an optimistic attitude. But don't expect instant change. Change will take time. There will be tremendous benefits if the government enforces these stricter restrictions. Let's move on to how this legislation would help. Imagine waking up in the morning knowing you would not be facing the challenges associated with ADHD. With my solution, the quality of life and feeling of well-being would improve dramatically. Implementation of my legislation will help these individuals in many ways. Being able to consistently pay attention, be organized, sit still, to think before acting, multitask, follow direction, and concentrate on one thing at a time is possible. Also to disappear will be the tendency to procrastinate, be stubborn, defy authority, and not being able to tolerate frustration and boredom. Life will be less challenging socially, emotionally, and educationally. They can shed the feelings of shame, fear, and believing you are worthless, a failure, never good enough, or don't fit in. No more of this constant nagging about being good and being in trouble all the time. If you're told you're worthless and called names such as ditzy, retarded, or dumb, enough times you start to believe it. ADHD can ruin a life. School, career, a marriage, and everything. Now that you know the problem, my plan to solve the situation and the benefits it would provide, we all need to work together and cooperate to do all we can to improve the environment to reduce the chances of having to live with ADHD. There is no reason for these people to be frustrated and misunderstood when the government can and should help to prevent it from occurring. Let's not just sit back and think about what we need to do here. Let's go do it. I would like to stress that man-made environmental toxins, chemicals, air pollutants, and diet are among the causes leading to the development of ADHD symptoms. The U.S. government should enact legislation to implement and enforce stricter regulations regarding exposure to environmental toxins. Contact your senators and House representatives in Washington, D.C. to pass on your concern. The benefits of implementing these regulations will help improve the quality of life and feeling of well-being for those with ADHD. Not only will those with ADHD benefit from this action, everyone will. We all want a cleaner environment, but since humans have actually created this problem, humans must decide we've had enough and encourage change. This is not impossible.